What's the word? All right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Of course, first and foremost, we do want to give all praises, honor, and glory to close that. Why is that open? To the Most High God over now, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who were ignorantly caused Jesus Christ. As y'all see by the title, what the well, Willie? So, player, how you feeling? You doing all right? All right. Okay. But as you see by the title, Trump's tariffs and natural disasters, they're biblical prophecy. Just got off the plantation. Likewise, likewise. But we'll be going over the tariffs that Trump is doing. What is a tariff exactly, and how that's going to play a part in any type of biblical prophecy, if it be the Most High's will. So, all right, we got. So on Monday, Mr. Trump had made an announcement about these tariffs. Right. Of course, this is something that's kind of been ongoing, but he just recently made another announcement concerning China. Right, and of course, China responded back. I just muted myself. What was wrong? Okay, so we're gonna read some. Right, right. We're gonna read some about what Trump said, and then we're gonna watch a little short clip. How Canada and certain companies in Canada is responding to Trump's tariffs. Right, but you see by the title, Trump threatens China with 50% tariffs if they fail to meet his demands by April 8th. All right, so today, if China does not, what's the word? Blaze shalom to the OGO damn Vegas. If China doesn't concede to what Trump is demanding, he's gonna up the tariffs 50%. Let's pull up the his original chart. See if we can see it. Trump's tariff chart. I mean, we can't use this one. It's just hard to see it. Oh no, that one's pretty smooth. So boom, we have Buddy here. And his tariff chart. So what a tariff is, for those of y'all who don't know, it's like it's a tax on any goods that is imported into America. Right. So what that means is, let's say Mexico, let's say Mexico is supplying us mangoes, right? Mangoes from Mexico. As soon as it reaches the border and then crosses over the border, there's a tax for them to sell their products in America. That is what a tariff is. Trump upped all the tariffs. Right. Let me zoom in so y'all can see it better. Right. So boom, we said China, tariffs charged to the USA, right? So this is what China is charging us or the USA, and then this is what the USA is charging, right? So he upped them, right? He upped all the tariffs with almost all countries that are importing their goods. And so what that does is, one, it definitely raises prices on our end. So if, let's say he puts tariffs on India and India supplies, let me just think of some random thing. Let's say India supplies silk. So India supplies silk. Everything that is silk is going to go up in prices because of the tariff, right? So if he ups the prices in the tariff, well, then they have to pay more to import their goods into America, which means they're not going to be making money unless they up the prices, which would then cause, certain things to crash, i.e. the stock market, right? So that's why the stock market is kind of like a woman on her menstrual cycle right now. Oh, damn. I just throwing my headphones in there. So that's a big problem. It's a big problem that Trump upped the tariffs, but let's see if we can find an article on China's response. China's response to tariffs. Let's see what China had to say. I don't want a video. Okay, boom. This is by APN News. No, I'm trying to say Tuesday. Move out the way. Boy, these ads be popping up like crackheads in the alleyway. God damn. Boom. So we'll read this really quick, right? On China's response, right? So boom, Trump upped the tariffs. Again, for those of y'all who are joining in, right? A tariff is a tax on any imported goods from a foreign country, right? Which kind of is pointless, that sentence. It's any imported goods, right, from an outside country. And so Shalom, Lily, first and foremost, how are y'all feeling? Y'all feeling all right? Y'all doing good? Y'all doing straight? You know what I'm saying? Y'all had yourselves a good day. My day wasn't so good, but teaching the Bible and getting into prophecies and certain things that is happening in the world right now, will of course, always brighten my day up. Economists also said that there's a math error in the formula used to calculate the tariffs. There was. Right. And I believe that it ended up, there's another error to where a large sum of money just kind of vanished. Right. It just vanished. Ibanya said his day was bad, y'all. Pray for Ibanya, man. Pray for the big brother Ibanya, man. So yeah, Trump upped the tariffs, you feel me? And then he threatened China because China said this, boom. Beijing AP says China said Tuesday it would fight to the end and take countermeasures against the United States to safeguard its own interests after President Donald Trump threatened an additional 50% tariff on Chinese imports. Right. So one, America doesn't really have resources that it sends to other nations outside of military, so to say. It doesn't really it doesn't really what's you know what I'm saying? This the brother that's on my intro. Um Shout out to the brother Hyman, Young Bundles, right? The brother music is cold, right? But I appreciate you. It means a lot that I'm one of your favorite or your new favorite teacher. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot, very much so, brother. We're gonna need more music, though. You know what I'm saying? I need more music. But shout out to that brother in Philly. I ain't never been, but I've always wanted to go. Right. So boom. America has no really it don't really have goods that they send to other countries. They don't, right? But it plays a major problem if other countries want to also return the favor of upping the tariffs on America, because we have companies like Google, we have companies like Apple, we have companies like there's another one. It's more so like tech companies. And if these tech companies fail or fall because of the tariffs, Google is a major factor in America. Apple is a major factor. Oh damn, I just broke my damn. You ask the Lord for strength and then you just end up breaking things. So long, yeah, y'all. But it then begins to play a major problem, right? We, like the brother Daniela said, we are a major consumer economy, right? Meaning we consume a lot, right? We get a lot of things, but then if there's this whole war of tariffs, and then it causes a trade war, which now other countries are going to up their tariffs on different countries, it's going to create a trade war, which can, you know, end up in an actual war, right? Which would be a very big problem. So it's kind of like the ages of clicking up right now, right? Countries about to start, you know, Lord willing, clicking up against America, but we're seeing it, right? So let's get hold on, hopefully this, let's just get out of there. So let's read more about what China's doing, right? It says the Commerce Ministry said the US imposition imposition of so-called reciprocal tariffs on China is completely groundless and is typical unilateral bullying practices, right? So they're calling everybody a bully, right? We're bullying them. China's the world's second largest economy has announced retaliatory tariffs and it's like it. The ministry hinted in its latest statements that more may be coming, meaning reciprocal. This thing is a fool, bro. That Temu price is finna go stupid. But China's gonna keep retaliating if America keeps retaliating. Now, mind y'all, if America is no longer I mean, it's kind of not. But if America really hits that final stage of like, we don't need you no more, China then becomes number one, right? China then becomes number one, which ultimately is fulfilling prophecy, right? Con, they said Temu might not be available. Listen, Temu, I don't even be shopping on Temu. You know what I'm saying? I think I did once. Matter of fact, I did. I think I bought like some pins or something for some fringes. Those are straight. But that's a problem though, right? So if America wants to up all these tariffs on different countries, especially the ones that we are dependent on, well, then it's going to become a major factor. There is a now I want to play it. Somebody put fair use in the chat. I don't want to get flagged, man. I don't want to get flagged. But there is I want to make sure that y'all be able to. There's a short concerning somebody. I don't know who put it up, but it was a Canadian company called Ford. It deals with electricity. Let me see if I can find it. sorry. Is that? Hold on. Okay. I need to know if y'all can hear this. Right. So I need y'all to put a 1 in the chat if y'all are able to hear this. But he is. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear this.
Today, we're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5.
Can y'all hear that? Put a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear that. Facts. You see, you're buying your work in the automotive industry, but we absolutely need automotive parts from other countries, right? A lot of things are made from China, so if China backs out of their imports towards America, well, then a lot of things are going to stop, and there's a lot of technologicalists, I think I said that right, that are saying if we stop getting the help from China, that our technology will be set back a decade. Right? We're already behind China. We are already behind China in technology. But if they stop their production towards us, we go back a decade. Meaning, it's going to provoke something, i.e. war. Right? So let's listen to this.
5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. This surcharge will cost families and businesses in these states up to $400,000 each and every single day. On an average, this will add around $100 per month to the bills of hardworking Americans. Let me be clear. I will not hesitate to increase this charge. If necessary, if the United States escalates, I will not hesitate to shut the electricity off completely. Believe me when I say I do not want to do this. I feel terrible for the American people because it's not the American people who started this trade war. It's one person who's responsible. That's President Trump. Today, we're moving forward with a 25% surcharge on electricity exports. For the 1.5 million American homes and businesses that Ontario powers, homes and businesses in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York.
So y'all heard it. There are certain states concerning this man, concerning Ford, that their electricity will be shut off if it's just, buddy ass standing on business. If Trump don't stop, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, there's going to be thousands and thousands upon thousands of people who will no longer have electricity and now have to figure something out. That's over there on the East Coast. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pray for them brothers out there. But it's bad for the American economy, but it's also good for us, right? Because we're now seeing something like Revelation 17, which we're going to get into in a second, being played out, right? But I want to play one more video. We're going to see what the person says, right?
A logic here that exists and seems that the markets are off their lows.
iPhone, for example, there. I know you've been talking to people who are experts in the tech industry. What are you hearing?
Yeah, well, I think when it comes to tech, there is some consternation that could be the next frontier of this conversation, because as we have those retaliatory tariffs that the United States, the so-called reciprocal tariffs that the United States will put into effect on April 9th, Wednesday of this week, that's kind of the starting point for all these other countries around the world to then tariff the United States. But here's the thing, because the United States doesn't export as many hard goods as other countries like Vietnam or China export to us, it might not be as impactful if another country really wanted to hit the United States where it hurts. So that's why you have the likes of some European countries that are suggesting maybe tariffing services, tariffing tech companies. If that is the case, that could be a whole nother level of discussion here, because when we talk about the tariffs, we're basically limiting ourselves to conversations of the physical goods that are put onto a ship, offloaded at the port of Los Angeles. But when you talk about companies like Google, like Meta, those are companies that make a lot of their money and are a huge part of the U.S. economy and the U.S. stock market. They don't export hard goods. So if you start to target those companies, that could be a big deal. And I want to point out.
All right. Now, mind y'all, does it sound like an echo when y'all hearing it? Or am I tripping? Is that just on my headphones? But we see that America's tariffs are really stirring up issues. You feel me? Mainly with China. Now, mind y'all, this is what Trump has said. Right, Trump threatens China with 50% tariffs if they fail to meet his demands by April 8th, which again is today. That literally is today. It says, in a bold escalation of trade rhetoric, U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a stern ultimatum to China, threatening to impose an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods if Beijing does not meet his demands by Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Right, so if Beijing doesn't submit to the authority of Donald Trump, well, then China is going to now have to suffer an additional 50% tariffs, right? Which again, he's utilizing the threatening tactic or a bullying tactic to try to scare China. I don't think China gonna go for it though. I ain't even okay. We gonna pray that China don't go for it. And then it starts something bigger, right? But it says the announcement made on Monday, April 7th, has sent shockwaves through global markets. Let me just zoom into this and reignited debates over the efficiency and consequences of trade wars. According to Reuters, Trump's latest, is that the whole screen? Yeah, latest threat comes in response to what he describes as China's long-term trading abuses and a recent 34% increase in retaliatory tariffs imposed by Beijing on U.S. goods. Now, mind you, Trump always been on this same motive, like China been bullying America, right? But he doesn't say just China. He also says, European countries. One of his arguments was they don't buy American cars, like they don't drive American cars. When a lot of American cars are wide bodied, right? And a lot of streets in Europe are very narrow and skinny. Right? That's why when you see them videos and you see Europe, you can clearly see that that's not America, because that's not how our streets are. And their cars are very distinct from the usual cars that we see. But he says, but you see us buying their cars. All right, so that was one of his arguments, which I didn't get, because one, petrol is extremely expensive in European countries. Two, American cars are terrible. The best cars that people have in America are usually from other countries, right? Like Kia. Kia is a great let me make sure I get this country right. I'm thinking one. South Korea. I don't know why I was gonna say something else. But Kia, being a great car company, they have a large import on the Americas, but you don't really see like American cars. Let me just get a list of all American cars. American. Honda, Ram. I'm not a fan of Ram. That's not Toyota, Hyundai. Lincoln, Buick, Cadillac. No. You feel me? So, yeah, just not you see, I actually have a Kia, so still am. But we see that that's a major problem. But we see that Trump is now steering the people like other nations people towards a certain spirit, like war. All right. Now ultimately, he wants to be in charge. He wants to be the top dude. But I want to show y'all something that a beloved brother has shared in one of these chats. Let me see. How can I? Right. So we see here, it says President of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde says, the EU wants to abandon the American credit cards, Visa and MasterCard, PayPal and Alipay, and wants to replace them with European ones. So they want to get rid of oh snaps. Hold on. They want to get rid of what is going on? Oh. They want to get rid of their payment system that we have, so to just completely separate. And so if the American dollar loses its value, who knows what's going to happen next? If the American dollar loses its value and there's no use for the American dollar, who knows what's going to happen next? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Bible push. Let's see what's happening, man. And then we about to read some Revelation 17. But mind y'all, there are many, many things happening. Boom. We finna go into a recession. Right. We are finna go into a recession. The digital currency is coming. Right. Oh, shalom to the big dog. Hey, man, if you want to join to give an update, by all means, you know what I'm saying? You got a lot more information on this than I do. You feel me? So if you want to join and you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about concerning Trump's tariffs, the economy, the dollar, wars that's going on, what, you know, who said what, by all means, you know what I'm saying? This link is for the powerful brother and be more. All right, so if you want to join, brother, you can join. And then we'll bring you up, and then shoot, you could just go in, teach the peoples. So yeah. There's also a major disasters that's happening in the world. Now I'm gonna show a list. Okay, cool. I'll pray this all good. I'm gonna show a list. Here's some recent events. I'm just gonna read the list of certain earthquakes that's happening now. Right now, if y'all seen on the thumbnail, I'm gonna put it back up. All right, there's a building over the Chinese president's head, right? Xi Jinping. And that is in, I keep forgetting how to pronounce this country. Praise the Lord. Myanmar. Right, I was in Myanmar. Now, mind you, my brother was just out there in Thailand. He was just out there playing basketball, and you know the Lord sent him home, which is all praise to the Heavenly Father. And he was supposed to go out back to China to play basketball there, but then you know certain things happened to where you know he's not going. Right now, it's unfortunate for him in his career, but you know what I'm saying. Well, I'd actually rather have him in China, to be honest. But that was a 7.7 magnitude earthquake, right? It killed over 2,800 people, injuring many more. The quake affected, let me just pull it down. I don't think that y'all be understanding. The Most High is literally working a work Working a work. Oh, look, you see the death toll went up. Right. Forecast of week of rain adds to Myanmar earthquake woes. Right. As death toll tops 3,500. Right. People in Myanmar earthquake stricken areas brace for thunderstorms late Sunday after heavy rains and winds previous night disrupted rescue and relief operations and added to the misery of many who lost their homes in the disaster and were forced to sleep in the open. Right. So the Most High done flicked. He done flicked Myanmar. And what Isaiah says, sparked them. Spark buddy, yeah. But completely devastated him. Right now, there's also earthquake in Alaska. That was a 5.5. Let's pull up Alaska's. Was that a recent one? Yeah, March 31st. Where'd it go? Boom. So it says, let me just pull up this 5.1, I guess. Right. So magnitude 5.1 Alaska Peninsula earthquake validates active fault status. Right. On the evening of March 31st, 2025, a magnitude 5.1 earthquake shook the Alaska Peninsula and surrounded area. By following morning, the Alaska Earthquake Center duty times earthquake was boom. The earthquake was significantly larger than any in the area in the past decade. At a depth of about 7 miles, 11 kilometers, it was slightly unusual because of how shallow it was for its size. While shallow crustal earthquakes are generally expected in this part of the Alaska Peninsula due to the disruptive stress convergence between the Pacific and the Northern American plates, they tend to be less than a magnitude of 3. This one was over 5. More typical deeper and larger earthquakes, descendants, boom. Right. So Alaska done had its little fair share of doing the nay when they was whipping up eggs. That was terrible. I shouldn't have said that. But they had a little earthquake. Oh, Nevada had an earthquake. It was a small one though, but it was where nobody really at, to be honest. Ridgemark, California had an earthquake of 3.1 on April 3rd at like 9 p.m. Boom, here it is. Matter of fact, I could just show you all these. These are all the recent earthquakes. Right, you have a 2.8 in Nevada, you have a 3.5 in Nevada, a 3.1 in Nevada, a 3.3 in Nevada. Close to these I think all of these are close to Reno. No, just this one's close to Reno. A 2.5 in Utah, 2.6 in Nevada, and 2.8 in Nevada was getting lit up from April 2nd to April 8th. Just lit up. Right? With earthquakes. Right? So you see that, Yahweh they're cooking something. You feel me? And we always say that judgment first has to start in the house of the Lord, and then it gets dispensed everywhere else, right? So we got to stay focused and pay attention. But back to Trump, to pay. We see that the EU is no longer wanting to partake in the payment system of Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, so on and so forth, and they want to get their own European currency, their own European what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, I think I said it right. They want to do their own thing, right? And China's saying like, listen, if you want to, let's go back to it, because China talking big shit. What happened to the? I want to get his direct quote. That's what I want. Boom. China said Tuesday it would fight to the end and take countermeasures against the United States to safeguard its own interests after President Donald Trump threatened an additional 50% tariff on Chinese imports. Right. So China's like, listen, you want to get down? Let's get down. You feel me? If you want to get active, we're gonna get active, right? Thus, now creating more tension than there already was. Which means a lot of countries are about to be in big trouble, especially the smaller ones. Now, mind you, if these tariffs go through, a lot of small companies are definitely going to go out of business, right? Because if China takes a step back from their imports, well, then a lot of small automotive companies are not going to get the parts they need. Therefore, they cannot produce any work. Therefore, people are going to start being let off, right? If certain companies start their imports in produce, right? We get large amounts of produce from such and such. All right, I'm just making this up. It causes a problem with people in the workforces like grocery stores, small grocery stores, small convenience stores, right? So on and so forth. They're bringing it back. Give me 1 second, y'all. 2 seconds. Told you I had 2 seconds. But this is all playing a major part, and Laura Willing is playing the final part of all the other nations hating the whore, right? Hating the whore. And if we, get set back a decade from, the oh Lord, I can't pronounce this word for the life of me. Hey man, listen. When Moses wasn't able to speak, he had a speech problem. I feel him 100%. Every times where, my speech be smooth, you know what I'm saying? Ain't got no problems, but then other times, just struggling. Right. But let's get into this Revelation 7. So now we need our notebooks and our pens and our pads, or for y'all technologically. Yeah, I guess I gotta see it. But yeah, we'll be set back for sure. More set back than we already are. But for those of y'all who take notes on your phone, something's wrong with you. I mean, I get it, but I can't do that. I just can't. I need a pen and I need a notebook. You know what I'm saying? I got notebooks all over my floor like tile. But who knows? I want to know who knows. I kind of already told y'all. Not Danyala, not Yabanya, and not anybody who's very, very much so sharp. Right, but who knows who the whore is in Revelation 7? It speaks about this great whore. Who knows who the whore is? You want to know? That's too damn bright. You want to know who the whore? Anybody got any guesses? Oh, snaps. Any guesses that when we read Revelation 17, which we're about to get the breakdown of Revelation 17, who the whore is, right? Brother said Europe. Not Europe. Close. Very much so close. Not exactly. Lily said LOL. She playing it safe. Right? So Boom. Yes, sir. Babylon, the U.S. Correct, Judah Love. So let's read Revelation 17, the doom of Babylon. Right. So it says, and there came one of the seven angels, which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right? Does anybody know what the many waters represent? You know, I just found out that I don't even need to be close to this microphone. I'm over here screaming in your ear. I can move it right here. And y'all still be able to hear me. Who knows what it says when that she sitteth upon many waters? Anybody can answer this, right? Many nations of people, right? You got a precept. So it says that Babylon sitteth upon many waters. Speaking about many people, America is a melting pot. True. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into, you know, the core of Babylon's name, which is important. But you know, we have to see a scripture. We'll probably go down there. Boom, he got it. Revelation 17 and 15. Smooth. So Revelation 17 and 15, it says, and he saith unto me, the waters which you saw where the whore sitteth are peoples, multitudes, and nations, and tongues. Right? Meaning, like what the brother Danyala said, it is a melting pot, right? It is a mixture of a lot of people, and it is the core of many nations. Like America literally been in the position of authority for many years. Right? For many years, America has been in the position of authority. I had to change that up on you. I didn't even see that. So let's go back up to the top. Right, verse 2. It says, and with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, right? So the rulers of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? So this is not just applying to the nation of Israel has to be drunk with the wine of her fornication. No, the whole world, right? The kings are those that are in rulership. The inhabitants are all their citizens, right? We see that you know, there's a lot more countries adapting the American way of life, right? Many nations in Africa, at first, you couldn't dress a certain type of way and walk outside, but now it's becoming something like normal, right? For them to just walk around, you know, with like revealing clothes. I'm not saying nothing too much, right? But so it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So it mentions her, right? Now, who knows how to prove that America is the her? It's something that starts with the C. Who knows? Let me give y'all a hint. It's a goddess. Who got it in the chat? Something that you could look up. And it's like an what's the word I'm looking for? Like an image for America. Who knows? Because mind you, Mystery Babylon is America, but we have to get an understanding of why it says her and how we can connect the her to America. All right, who knows what it's called? Yeah, like one more minute. He said that American democracy. Yeah, a lot of countries are beginning to hate America. It's called Columbus, the Columbus Goddess, right? Oh Lord, I just realized how many tabs I got open. Lord in Christ. Yeah, Columbia. My bad, not Columbus, Columbia. Let me close this. Not the country Columbia, but when you just take a look, Columbia Goddess. There she go right there. Right? This is who it is, Lady Liberty. Right? Before Lady Liberty, there was Lady Columbia. Right? Of course, now we have the Statue of Liberty, but it was Columbia, the Columbia Goddess. Right now, let's take a look. A prominent goddess like female personification of the United States and liberty, particularly during the 18th and 19th century, often seen in political cartoons and patriotic imagery before Lady Liberty gained prominence. So this is how Captain America's wife. Hey, this is how we make that correlation to the whore, right? Columbia Goddess. Now that's not the only thing, right? Because that would be a stretch. But let's go to Habakkuk. Let's read the book of Habakkuk. This is in case you got any of that. All right, no, it's an anchor. Habakkuk 2. Habakkuk 2 and 2. It says, and Yahweh answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and will not tarry. Meaning, this is something that was going to be understood later on, right? Not in Habakkuk's time, but this is something for our time, right? Verse 4, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Right? So this is a place that is going to be gathering all nations. Right? Who knows what the word Babylon means? Right? Without looking it up, who knows what the word Babylon means? Confusion. Yes, confusion is something else. There's something else that needs to be added to it. Murmuring, not murmuring. I mean, the Greek, it's just confusion. I meant I should have said the Hebrew. The Hebrew though, let me pull it up for y'all. Boom. So this is the Hebrew word for Babel or Babylon. Confusion by mixing, right? So it's a confusing place because of the mixing that is happening within that country or within that that nation. And so when you look at America, you have many different religions, you have many different ideologies, you have confusion by people saying that there's something that they're not, that they were born something, but they were truly supposed to be something else. You literally have contests. I just wasted like 10 seconds of my time the other day. You literally have a contest where grown men will play the part of a dog in a competition as to roll over or jump or bark as if they're an actual dog. So they'll literally tell them to roll over, and the grown man who's dressed up as a dog, who thinks that he's actually a dog, will roll over like a dog. And then everybody will applaud him. But then what's going on? That's confusion, right? Arkansas and Kansas, confusion. I don't think that applies. But that's the confusion, right? Allowing children to do whatever they want and shaming the parent for whooping the child, especially a Israelite child, because we understand how far we would go when we're in the world. You know, you're shamed if you whoop your child. It's just a mass confusion. How, you know, they know how much money we make. They know how much the percentages. They know all of that, but wants us to put it in the system. And if we get it wrong, then we're in trouble. But they already have all the information, right? And they don't want to tell us. We got to figure it out, right? Yeah, I had seen that too. You literally have Edomites who play the part of a horse. For a horse, that's talent. For a horse, that's is talent, because you know it's hard to get a horse to understand you, right? It takes time. Not for a human being. It's not hard to tell a human being to jump, right? They don't know what they're talking about. They know what to do, right? Boom. It's brothers. It bothers me that we encouraging Israelites to call CPS just to give them to heathen parents that might off them. Right. But it's just a mass confusion. It's a confusion by mixing. It's just a whole bunch of different things that should just not belong there. It's just confusion. So when we go back to Habakkuk 2:5, it says that he gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all peoples. Right. And when we jump down to verse 12, we see something like this: woe to him that buildeth the town with blood and establisheth a city by iniquity. Right. So though a city was established, if it was established off of blood and it was established by sin, well, then that place has to and must be destroyed. Right. So we see that Habakkuk 2, we see that Revelation 17 are both saying something similar. Outside, we didn't get the part of Revelation 17 where the place would be destroyed yet, but we did get where that he would heapeth unto him all nations and all peoples. All right, so going back to Revelation 17, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Let's visit this chapter, so-called Isaiah 47. Right? So it says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate, right? So when we take a look at that word for tender and delicate, we see tender means tender, soft, weak, delicate, weak of heart, timid, soft, right? So something that is valued, right? Delicate means dainty, luxurious, right? So this place will no longer be called luxurious, right? Shout out to the OG Magar Gawayam. Pleasure to see you, brother. And congratulations. Nah, you listen, you ain't late, Art. You ain't you is late. But it's all good, man. Brother just got ranked up. Shout out to that brother. That powerful officer in Memphis. So we see that this place is no longer going to be called we see that this place is no longer going to be called soft, and that this place is no longer going to be called luxurious, right? But that rings a bell. All right, let's pull up Revelation 18. All right, Revelation 18, and we're going to read more of this, but we'll start at verse 7. Well, verse 6. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works, and the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, am no widow, and see no sorrow. Kind of like tender and delicate. All right, but let's see what that word for live deliciously. It means luxuriously. The same as the word for delicate in Isaiah 47. So there's a people that are going to be living luxuriously, right? And so when people from the outside look at America, shalom to everybody tuning in. Now I want to take a quick break, really quick, just a 5-second break. I want to let y'all know something. There's something cool. There's something cool that's happening, right? So as y'all see, a dispensationalist came up to camp and we had a dialogue, right? So coming up on Friday at 7:30 a.m. in Mountain Standard Time, which is where I'm at in Arizona, we have a video dropping on the Tazarap channel. A dispensationalist debates Hebrew Israelites, right? So y'all gonna have to go check that out, and make sure that y'all click it. And when y'all do click it, hit that notification bell. Boom, that notify me. Hit the like button. You can start commenting, right? So make sure that y'all go ahead and do that and support a brother. Now, mind y'all, I'm at 968 subscribers. You feel me? Hey, shout out to that brother, right? Shout out to the Strangers of Rome, right? All the way out from Cape Verde. Okay. You're gonna have to pop up on us in Phoenix, you know what I'm saying? But I just need, if we can, if y'all can share it, if y'all can, tell y'all friends about it, whatever way have you. I just need a little bit more to make 1,000. You feel me? I just need a little bit more to make 1,000. So if y'all could definitely share that video. You're gonna be in the premiere chat. That nigga said no longer tender. The goofy. So that's what America is no longer going to be. And we see it doing it now. It's thinking that it's luxurious, that it has the opportunity to call all these shots. But there's going to be a time where she can't call no more shots, right? She can't stand up and say, nobody can touch me. I'm no widow, right? I'm good, right? I'm a queen. Nobody can touch me. She's not going to have that mentality as she has today. And today. And we see that Donald Trump is displaying that mentality, telling China, if Beijing don't comply, I'm upping the tariffs 50%. That's a problem for the American citizens, right? Especially if they begin to back out and say, you know what, we don't want to deal with you. We got our own currency. We got our own trades over here. You don't give us nothing. You just make us money. But we schmoove off of the money because you owe us too much, right? Now there is a business strategy that I can see Donald Trump doing. That a lot of people do in real estate. I just don't see it working. Let's go back to Isaiah. Because of prophecy, that's why. Right. So she's gonna sit in the dust. Now, mind you, it says, "Oh, daughter of Babylon, the daughter of Babylon." This whore. It's speaking to her as a woman. Just like Columbia goddess. Right. Verse 2, it says, "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover the larks, let's jump down." Verse 5, it says, "Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms." Right. And so we see that America was always called the Lady of Kingdoms. A lot of times other countries will bow down to America, and America can do what it wants, like send troops to Iraq and just completely bomb the hell out of it, and nobody really says anything about it. Right? Just because we want the oil that Iraq supplies. We can bully Mexico and tell Mexicans that we're gonna build a border and you gonna pay for it. Right? Canada, right? That video that we played with Ford saying that he has no problem and he will never and he won't hesitate to shut down all power in, I believe, Minnesota, New York, and it might have been Wyoming. I forgot the other state. He has no problem doing that because of the tariffs that Donald Trump is putting on them. Right? Listen, these tariffs are too high. You're doing too much. We're gonna back out. We done seen the Michigan, boom. We done seen the woman say, listen, we're gonna abandon MasterCard, we're gonna abandon Visa, we're gonna abandon all these different digital currencies. We're gonna get our own stuff, European style. Right? We're not gonna be dealing with what y'all got going on, because again, America had a headlock on the game for a little bit. Right, but we're starting to see that she will no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Right, verse 6, "I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance." That inheritance being the land. So yeah, Yahweh was pissed at us, and he allowed us to be exiled. He allowed us to go into West Africa. He allowed us to be sold on auction blocks. That's what he allowed. And he also allowed other nations to rule over our land. Right? That's Luke 21 and 24. It says, "And giveth them into thine hand, thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient have you very." This is in the NKJV. It says, "I was angry with my people. I have profaned my inheritance, and given them into your hand. You showed them no mercy. On the elderly you laid your yoke very heavily." Right? "And you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not take these things to heart, nor remember the latter end of them." Meaning she didn't count the cost. Right? Lady Liberty, Uncle Sam, America did not count the cost of what they were doing to Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. We see something like in Revelation 16. It says, "For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy." Right? So because of the bloodshed that they spilled, now they have to drink the same cup. Right? So we're almost, you feel me? We almost there. Right? We almost up out of here. especially what's going on with the earthquakes, especially what's going on with the tornadoes, with the floods, especially what's going on with the Lord willing, a trade war that evolves into World War III. Hopefully, we now transition into the chariots coming through the sky, and then we go to the wilderness, and then we see that battle of Jehoshaphat, and then we get brought into the land, and then we have the marriage of the lamb, and we just working. You feel me? That's why it's important for everybody, everywhere, to put the brick in, no matter what. Right? Continue to wake our people up, because again, the more we wake people up, the more we do the work for the elect's sake. The time will be shortened. Right? For the election. Let's go back to that. Pleasure to bless security. Oh, boom. Verse 8. It says, "Therefore, hear this now, you who are given to pleasures, who dwell securely, who say in your heart, I am, and there is no one else besides me. I shall not sit as a widow, nor shall I know the loss of children." The very same thing that was said in Revelation 18. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. That is the pride of boom. You know what I'm saying? He done brought the oh, I keep looking. The chariots. And matter of fact, Baba Kushai, everybody can drop chariots. You feel me? We got Limitations 4 and 21. All right, let's read that probably. Okay. Boom. Revelation 4 and 21. Right, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwells in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shall make yourself naked. Like the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry the way into captivity. He will visit your iniquity. O daughter of Edom, he will discover your sins. Because again, this is something that hasn't been discovered. Right? We got more chariots in the chat. We can be all the chariots until we get the real chariot. Boom. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. Right? Now, mind you, I just want to let y'all know, FYI, every time you see earthquake in the Bible, it doesn't literally mean an actual earthquake. They could be referencing missiles dropping, right? Because when a missile drops, it's like an earthquake. So these prophets and these brothers in these times, they were just trying their best, right? If the ground shake, the only thing that they know is an earthquake. Right? If they see something that looks like a serpent, I mean, it's a serpent. It has a head. I mean, it got wings on it. I don't know what that is. You feel me? They're describing a missile hitting the floor, right? So don't get carried away saying that every time we see earthquake in the Bible, it's earthquake. Nah, but there are times where it does mean a little earthquake. So we see the correlation between Isaiah 47 and Revelation 17, how this woman, or Revelation 18, how this woman, this whore, is saying, I am no widow, and I sit a queen, and nobody can touch me. Right? That is the mentality of the American white man. The American white man. Verse 3 in Revelation 17. Well, actually, let me get that in a second. Verse 3 says, So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Who knows what the scarlet-colored represents? Why is it saying that it's scarlet-colored? Right? Whoa unto Babylon. Right? Exactly. The glittery sword. Who knows what it means when it speaks about the scarlet color? Right? And again, if you're just now tuning in, you want to make sure that you're tuned in Friday morning. Friday morning to a new video that's dropping. Dispensationalists versus Israel. Lord of Christ. Right? Oh. Oh, Lord of Christ. You she's bloody? No, not she's bloody. This brother is a good brother. Now I don't know if y'all watched it, but he was on Hassad's live recently. Right? He debated Hassad pretty recently. His name is Speed. He lives out here in Arizona, and ironically, I ran into him on Friday. Right? Esau. Yes, the whore is Esau for sure. But we're trying to figure out what it means by scarlet colored. That's what we're trying. Revelation 12 and 3. Listen. No, not Revelation 12 and 3. Close. That's dealing with Rome. All right, so there's a difference between the 7 heads and 10 horns, or the 7 heads with 2 different beasts. Okay, but I plan on doing the beast breakdown, the vials breakdown, another Revelation 12 breakdown, a Revelation 20 breakdown, where people say that Satan was bound for 1,000 years, the millennial reign. Plan on doing those breakdowns. Just a lot of Revelation breakdown, right? Which would kind of bring in second Esdras as well. But the scarlet colored is just basically the flashiness, right? The glittery things, right? Like Hollywood, right? Shout out to Zachary Hollywood. They got such a cool song coming out. But like Las Vegas, right? Like the Gucci, the Prada, the Dior, like all that shit. That's the scarlet colored beast. A lot of people from foreign countries, they think of America as like literal gold, golden streets, golden houses, golden trees, everything's gold. Like that's how they view it, because that's the persona that they have just made it seem like, oh yeah, it's glittery, and then the army is just terrible, like they're strong, they're mighty. And in all actuality, America would get dog walked. Okay, they just like to bark. Verse 4, right? It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So it speaks about this woman, which is Mystery Babylon, which is America. She's dressed all glittery. She got the pearls and the stones, the diamond. And for her, they're moisanites, that glam goddess. They're moissanite stones, because we get the real diamonds. They get the moissanite shit. But who knows? She has a golden cup. Who knows the abominations and the filthiness of her fornication? Who knows what that's referencing? Put it in the chat. Flood the chat with all the guesses, the suggestions. Hey, are y'all able to super chat? Never mind. Don't even worry about it. I'll figure it out. Who knows what the filthiness of her fornication is referencing? The only wrong answer is the ones that y'all don't give. Yeah, that's one of them. That's one of them for sure. Yes. Yes. White supremacy, right? A white Jesus. Um, the doctrine of, us not having to keep the law. The elemental P community, being able to do what you want. A mix of religions, hypocrisy, allowance of the law of God to be broken, where the judgment is supposed to be death. Right. So he said the same thing before I said it. In the democracy, right? But the doest thou will, the doest thou will. That's the promotion of our people, glorifying the death of our people. The promotion of our people, glorifying the whoredoms of our people, right? Spiritual idolatry. I don't know if you see that. Spiritual idolatry. That plays a part in it. When they put black men like Kevin Hart in a dress, Medea, Tyler Perry, half of his, oh Lord. Earthquake just hit Taiwan. Damn. A 5.4 a magnitude of 5.4 earthquake just hit Taiwan at 8 a.m. I don't know if that's 8 a.m. our time or their time. But I'm pretty sure it's my time, but their time actually. It just got one April 2nd and April 4th, both in the 4 range. So it looks like it's rising. No, it was 4.6, then 4.0, and then a 5.4. Right, not too far from Japan. You see, listen, the Most High is working a work, right? And our focus and our main focus should really only be the work of the Heavenly Father, right? We have to put Him first. I gotta put me first, right? But back to the fornication, the filthiness of her fornication, like Tyler Perry spending countless hours dressed up as a woman. It is the shows and movies amusing growing up, yeah, but then when you look at it, it's embarrassing, right? As if Bam, first of all, Bam, funny as hell. I don't know if y'all remember Bam, the short black woman. She funny as hell in the Medea movies, but it's just degrading, right, for them to constantly be dressed like that. I don't know if I don't know their names, like Key and Peele or Keenan Peele, whatever the hell their name is, Keith and Peele. I don't really be watching them like that. I ain't gonna cap it. They just weird, very weird. But they dress up like full-fledged women. I don't know if there are people either, but they be dressing up like full-fledged women. The amount of elemental P people in shows and in movies, and most of the times there are people. They make our people the this thing is goofy. I think I thought the deal was a real woman. But yeah, that's the filthiness now. Just all of her evilness, right? That now other countries are also been adopting, right? Verse 8, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh who judges, right? But when you go back to Isaiah 47, it mentions the same thing, right? I think it's verse 11. Isaiah 47:11, it says, therefore shall evil come upon you, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon you, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. right? I believe it says an hour. Might be a translation. Oh, verse 9. It says, but these two things shall come to thee in one or in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, for they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantment. Right. So we see that no. I mean it could be. Yahweh can do it in an hour, he can do it in a minute, he can do it in a day. Do I think that it's one? No, I just think that it's gonna happen very short, right? Because we do see America declining very rapidly, very shortly, right? But if it's one day, literally, I don't think so. It's just referencing a small time. I would love for it to be one day. Just get it over with. Right, back to Revelation 17. That's Revelation 18. Verse 5. It says, upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great. Mystery, it's like it. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of, right? She's literally the mother of them, right? She birthed so many different countries to do so much wickedness, right? She was one who granted safe passage to the people who claim that they're Jews but are not, right? This is all evil. Right, verse 6. I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Right. So it speaks about them wondering with great admiration. We read the Revelation 16:6. We're gonna get Ezekiel 35. But who knows why it says, I wondered with great admiration. All right, let's look at Ezekiel 35. Now, if y'all don't know about Ezekiel 35, y'all are sleeping, because this is a prophecy against the nation of Edom. But let's read Ezekiel 35. It says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against you, and I will stretch out mine hand against you, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because you have had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right now, y'all want to know what's so cold? Y'all want to know what's so cold? Who knows what Esau's blessing was? What was Esau's blessing? Who knows the blessing of Esau? Hold on a second. Boom. The sword, the sword, the sword, ruling the world by the sword. Right? So God he purposely gave Esau a blessing that would ultimately be the only reason of his downfall is because of his blessing. His blessing is the sword, and so that's all he knows. Right? So that being all he knows, he utilizes that, and then he just destroys himself. Right? So it says, therefore, as I live, saith Yahweh, I will prepare you unto blood, and blood shall pursue you, since you have not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from it him that passeth out, and him that returneth. Right, and I will fill his mountains with slain men, and your hills, and your valleys, and in all your rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make you perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return. You shall know that I am Yahweh. Now, this speaks about a perpetual desolation. Now, I have a video. Let me see if I can find it. It's on Sakari Phoenix. I just got a mini heart attack. I was typing in Sakari Phoenix and it was not popping up. Let me see. Boom, this one. Right. So in this video, it's two chapters. It's just literally two chapters. And it's proof that Edom is Mystery Babylon using just two chapters that are right next to each other. They're right next to each other. Jeremiah 50 and Jeremiah 51. Right? Those two chapters that are right next to each other literally prove who Mystery Babylon is, because Edom is suffering the exact same punishments as Babylon. It couldn't have been ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon wasn't destroyed with fire that the smoke ascended up forever, because people are literally living in the same spot that not in the same spot, but there's not smoke ascending up forever in the same spot where ancient Babylon was. So it has to be talking about a different Babylon, like Mystery Babylon in Revelation 17 and Revelation 18 and other places it's mentioned. So those that in that video is literally just two chapters. Nobody else is facing the same punishment as Babylon other than Edom. And one of the punishments is perpetual desolation, right? And thy cities shall not return. Right? There's no returning from the wrath of the Lord when Yahweh executes judgment on Mystery or on Edom. Right? But watch this. Is that not the verse? Hold on. Oh, okay. Boom. Um, Right, Revelation 19. This is 1 or 2. Revelation 19. And we'll start at 1. It says, and after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. Now, mind you, it says, and after these things, which is Revelation 18, which is Mystery Babylon fallen. The last verse is, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. It's talking about Mystery Babylon. Then it says after this, after Mystery Babylon is Salaka, y'all. Um, so this is after Mystery Babylon has been destroyed. It says, and after these things I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying, Hallelujah, salvation and glory and honor and power unto the Lord our God. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he had judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication. So whoever this whore is, it corrupted the earth with her fornication. It says, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Some people say that the great whore is Jerusalem. Some people say that the great whore is the Roman Empire. Some people say that the great whore is the Vatican City. We'll go in depth and disproving that in another video, where we just strictly prove who Mystery Babylon is, right? And then, debunking any other false doctrine. Back to Revelation 19. So after the Lord has executed judgments, verse 3 says, and again they said, Hallelujah, or Alleluia, and her smoke rose up forever and ever. A perpetual desolation, right? The same thing that Ezekiel 35 was speaking about. But let's just read Jeremiah 50. Right, you have a prophecy against Babylon. Oh, Jeremiah 49, it's 49 and 50. So the two chapters of Jeremiah 49 and 50, you can also use 51. 51 is Babylon, 50 is Babylon, 49 is Edom. Right? So let's see what it says about Edom's judgment, because again, it says prophecy against Edom. Which some people say that Edom doesn't exist. They would have to prove that the prophecies of their destruction happened and when it happened. Right? But Ezekiel or Jeremiah 49 and 17, it says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. Meaning it's not going to be inhabited, but as the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah, meaning the burning of it, right? The burning of Sodom and Gomorrah. Oh, y'all can't even see the screen. So lucky, y'all. I read this right. the burning, the fire that descended upon Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be like the fire that's going to ascend onto or descend unto Edom, right? Fire came from heaven. The same way fire will still come from heaven when it comes time to Edom, because the missiles come from the skies, which is considered the heavens. Now let's go to Jeremiah 50. All right, Jeremiah 50. This is again prophecy against Babylon now. Let's go. Where is it at? Boom. Jeremiah 50 and 39. This is a prophecy about Babylon. This is therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. When it says it should not be inhabited, it's not saying that nothing is ever going to live here. No, because it just said like vultures, owls, little rodents, little shit like that. They'll live here. But as far as civilizations, no, nobody's living here. Verse 40. As God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. It's literally the same thing that's supposed to happen to Edom. Nobody's going to dwell there, and it's going to be overthrown like Sodom and Gomorrah, which means burnt. Right? So we see the correlation between the two. Now, I'm so sick of this place, man. Revelation 17, and let's read 8. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, meaning coming out of Europe, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And when they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet he is, meaning astonished on how it came back to life, right? And how it ascended out of, because Rome destroyed, right? Rome got destroyed completely. That empire was no more. And then there was this time of the Middle Ages, which is considered the Dark Ages by some people. It's really just called the Middle Ages. And then they just reappeared with the Renaissance. Right now, I did an old video on. Did I? I don't think I did a video on. I don't think I did a video on Revelation 20. But I think that's one of the next breakdowns that I'll do is Revelation 20 breakdown. And what that vision really means. You know, if it's talking about a war in heaven or anything like that, we'll definitely go into that for sure. Maybe Friday. But they're just astonished, great astonishment on how this beast just rose back up, right, and then took over the world again. But then that's part of what the hell is this? That's part of Esau's blessing. Boom. Genesis 27-39, it says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shall you live, and shall serve your brother. That's talking about them serving us. And it shall come to pass, when you shall have the dominion, you shall break his yoke from off your neck, which again is that Revelation 20. So there'll be a time when he will have the dominion, and he will break the yoke from off his neck, which goes back to them coming back into power, right? But I don't want to get too far into that, because then, you know, I'm going over the whole Revelation 20 breakdown, which is going to have its own video. Any questions in the chat? Any questions in the chat? I'm gonna read something to y'all. Right? Because you know, we got to understand on how these scriptures can be applied. And this is Job 36 and 15 in the CEV. All right, so Job 36 and 15 in the CEV. And it says, hard times and trouble are God's way of getting our attention. So when we see Trump's tariffs now causing or potentially causing a major trade war, potentially then causing World War III, we see that the major earthquakes that are hitting not only Taiwan or Myanmar, Alaska, Nevada, California. We see California just got done with their forest fires. Not only we see that, but then we see the internal wars that we're having. We're seeing that you have these people that are claiming that they can be whatever they want, that are now trying to push that agenda on our children. And it's just getting out of control. That's literally what's happening in America. Shit is just getting out of control. And it's becoming a problem. But hard times and trouble are God's way of getting our attention. So even the trouble that's happening with us, right, with Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, it doesn't matter what it is. He's trying to get our attention. He's trying to get us to see something. Hey, I need y'all to pay attention right now. I'm hitting y'all so I can get y'all attention. It's just like if you working with somebody or you walking around with somebody and somebody got their headphones in, you saying something isn't going to do nothing. You have to push them. Hey, man, or tap them on the shoulder like, hey, man, yeah, you know, and then ask that question. Are we going to be beamed up before the new kids, or would there be a second Exodus? Some Hebrews say they would take us on ships to Israel, which is true. The chariots. So that kind of goes into Revelation 14. Certain individuals, it is tough, right? It is tough. But it just has to happen. I know it's Revelation 14. Oh, Revelation 15. But it's not like it's not like like the rapture. You feel me? Christians believe in the rapture, and they'll believe that at any moment we're gonna hear this loud trumpet, and then we're all just gonna be beamed up. No, you feel me? There are certain plagues that have to happen to our people, right? Not just our people, but it has to happen to our people, right? Like Revelation 15. It says, and I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them was filled up the wrath of God. And I saw as it were a sea of glass mingled with fire, and with them that had gotten the victory over the beast, over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having harps of God. And they sing a song of Moses and the servant of God. And the song, I'm not trying to break down this whole thing because I want to do a breakdown on this whole thing. And 7 plagues, one of the 4 beasts, the 7 angels were involved. All right, so it speaks of these 7 plagues. Now, I'm trying to see where I'm going to start at. See that? No, I ain't trying to do that. Because you're going to have me jump the gun and give a whole breakdown right now. Nah, you got to wait, my boy. But nah, we are gonna get beamed up for sure, Lord willing. Right before the nukes hit, but there are certain plagues that individuals have to suffer while waiting for them chariots, right? Now the elect won't have to suffer those plagues, right? So that's why we always encourage brothers and sisters, well, brothers more so, to do as much as they can for Yahweh, and um I thought I had a wire so that you don't have to partake in these plagues, right? So you don't have to suffer the sins of the people, the sins of the people, the sins of the land, right? That's why it says, come out of from my people that you be not partakers of her sins, the punishments, the torments, the tortures, the things that's gonna happen to her, you know. Want to be delivered out of it before that, right? Any other questions? I'm breathing too. Not as my headphones. I gotta see if the audio be working. I'm putting the headphones in. Con, I got you for sure, brother. I mean, you can ask questions on anything, to be honest. It could be a Christian's verse, you know, something that somebody hit you with on the street. I ain't saying I got all the answers, but I got a couple. I do got a couple. What you want to talk about, man? What you want to talk about, man? Yeah, I ain't got no questions. So y'all be reading y'all Bible, y'all be, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be listening to Christian, you know, Christian breakdowns. Y'all be watching debates and don't even have no questions. Y'all gotta you know, definitely pray for the brothers that be trying to teach and do this ministry. Y'all gotta pray for all of them, man. Gotta pray for all of them. But yeah, I do look forward to be doing more revelation breakdowns as well as parables. But there's a powerful brother Isaiah in Atlanta. You know, he's a parable man. He was going to be doing parables as well, so I'll be sharing those most definitely. Definitely have to get up on the parables, man. Oh shit. What is the law of the spirit of life? faith. I'll read it. Romans 8:1, it says, there is therefore no condemnation to them which are in Hamashiach Yahushua. Right? The condemnation meaning the punishment because of the faith in which we have. Right? We don't earn grace. Grace is given to us. Right? We don't earn the position of being the elect. Yahweh chose us. Right? John 6:44, if I'm not mistaken, says, no man can come to me unless the Father draw him. Meaning unless the Father picked him up by his nappy head and brought him to the bosom. Right? It says, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. For the law of, that's what I'm saying. You could say the law of Moses, because the law of Moses is, having faith in Christ and faith in Yahweh. But in all actuality, it's faith. It says, for the law of the spirit of life in Hamashiach Yahushua hath made me free from the law of sin and death. So just the law. But he's more so speaking on faith. Faith is part of the law. You get what I'm saying. But verse 3, it says, for what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, meaning he died for sins. You feel me? That when we begin to have faith in him, we receive a newness of life, because it was an unmerited gift of God. An unmerited gift of God. If I can do it, homie, it can be done. But let the same thing know how to do it. If I can't do it, homie, it can be done. Let the same thing bottle drop. I'm gonna take it to the top. All right. Any other questions? Surprised no Christians on. Let's see if there's comments. If I can. Right. So just be on the lookout, y'all, for them tariffs. You know what I'm saying? That stock market, Lord willing, gonna crash. And the whole economy is gonna crash. That's Romans 9 and 6. I got a whole video on it. And we just went over that in class. How does that work? Deuteronomy 21:10-5. I don't know how that works. Let's read Deuteronomy 21. Yeah. What would that look like today? It wouldn't look like nothing today, because we don't. This is speaking about when you go to war. It says, Deuteronomy 21:10. It says, when you goest forth to war against your enemies, and the Lord thy God hath delivered them into your hand, and you have taken them captive. So this is speaking about when we literally shield up, when we like when we actually went to war, like in Joshua's time, right? We're not going to war right now, right? And this is speaking about when the Lord delivers the enemies into our hands. So right now, today, we don't do that, right? Am I saying that it's not permissible for you to be with a heathen? No, I'm saying that pursuing the Deuteronomy 21, that's speaking about when we go to war. So you don't go to no bar, you meet a Moabite, you want her to be part of your congregation. Yeah, I get what I'm saying. You don't have to shave her head because you didn't go to war, and then you didn't kill her parents, and then you have to put her. You don't have to do all that. Yeah, nah. That's for like when we go to war. So kind of like the Battle of Jehoshaphat. All the men are gonna fight. I can't wait to do that breakdown. All the men gonna fight. What is it gonna leave? It's just gonna leave the children and the women. Feel me? Me personally, I love my peoples. If I can't do it, homie, it can't be done. Why is that song? Any other questions? We on here as long as y'all need me, man. But if I ain't got no use for y'all, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Romans 9:6. For they are not all Israel, which are of Israel. It's just people that are claiming to be the children of God, but are not. Some Christians will say that applies to us. Some say that, I don't know what others say. They'll say that supersessionism, that's replacement theology. What do I say? I say that that's those over there in the land right now. Damn, I keep kicking my damn camera, man. Gotta get my hydration jug 3000, nigga. We'll add water bottles, man. Oh, and if y'all are watching this, if it be the Lord's will, I'll be in Vegas for 2 weeks, starting next Monday. So if you're in the Vegas area, or people's in the Vegas area, y'all could definitely, see that. Gotta go. Y'all can hit me up on Instagram, and then y'all can link up with us when we go out there and hold camp. Do fly duty, question Christians, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But if there's no more questions, it was a pleasure, y'all. Again, pay attention to what China does after today. If y'all go back, let me plug this. Let me plug the brother Instagram because he got all the updates. He got all the updates. All right, this is the brother's Instagram. He got all the updates about things that are going on, earthquakes. Let's view this one. If Trump's secret agenda is to crash the stock market to bring down long-term interest rates, the plan already failed. The yield of the 30-year Treasury is now above 4.75%, the highest since February 19th. So the plan to crash the stock market is now crashing the bond market too. Right, Justin, China says they will not bow down to Trump's new tariffs. Call your mom, tell her you. Let's see. Chinese market fails 30%. Trying to get something. This one. The European Union has retaliated against Trump's tariffs by slapping $28 billion worth of U.S. imports with new tariffs. Right? So make sure y'all go follow that brother. He got all the updates. You know what I'm saying? and give that brother his due, his support that is due. Man, that brother does major work. Right. But with that, I do want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God. How will we do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the work in the cause Jesus Christ? Kwame Yashrala, and y'all stay safe out there.